No Rest for the Wicked is a game I really do like. I enjoy the gameplay, I think the art design is fantastic, graphics are decent, and despite the fact that this game is still early access, the performance is pretty good on my PC. On top, HDR looks fantastic in combination with my LG G4. The only problem, and that's a big problem, what I have with this game, it's just way too hard. Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. HDR No Rest for the Wicked is pretty decent. It's not perfect because we have some issues with the average picture brightness. It's a little bit too low. We have some issues, minor issues with crushed blacks. The HDR black level floor is just too good in this game. And also sometimes colors are looking a little bit too saturated in my opinion. But in general, one of the better HDR implementations what I have seen in a game. And before we now taking a closer look on the picture settings, the HDR picture settings and the general settings what we have in the game, just keep in mind this game is just released on the PC for now, so there's no console version right now. I don't even know if there's any release date right now for the console version. So again, all the footage what you're going to see is recorded of the PC version. And I have tested this game on my PC with a NVIDIA 4080 AMD 7950X3D, and again performance wise I'm actually happy. Also I'm using the LG G4 here in my back for all my HDR testing, and for this game I mainly used HGIG. Dynamic tone mapping on, in my opinion, is just way too bright to play this game because this game is a very dark game, so HGIG is working pretty well. It's not as bright as I would like it with HDR enabled, but again on the other side dynamic tone mapping on is just way too much. And here we are with the settings what we have in the game in No Rest for the Wicked. Please keep in mind this game does not support the HDR system level calibration in Windows 11. So the general settings what we have is brightness, contrast, saturation and user interface brightness setting. Special HDR settings are called paper white and maximum nits setting, and of course the richness setting. So let's start with the brightness setting, and my only recommendation here is do not touch it. As soon you increase this setting or decrease this setting, you either crush blacks even more or you raise the HDR black level floor, which is not to recommend. So again, do not touch the brightness setting. The next setting what we have is called contrast, and I haven't touched this setting when I played the game. This setting is changing the average picture brightness slightly when you increase or decrease it, but it's also affecting the maximum peak brightness in specular highlights. So if you like to use this, just keep in mind increase or decrease this slightly because you are affecting not just the average picture brightness, you're also affecting specular highlights. And the last setting what we have under the general settings is the saturation setting, and this setting is purely changing colors on your screen. It makes the colors more vivid if you increase it or less vivid if you decrease it. I personally didn't touch this setting because I was quite happy with the colors on my screen. And now let's talk about the HDR settings what we have in the game. We're starting with the paper white setting. Minimum setting is 40, maximum is 120. I used 120, the maximum setting, in combination with my LG G4 and HGIG enabled. I mentioned this already that if you like to use dynamic tone mapping on, in my opinion the game is just way too bright. But feel free to change this setting as you like it. The next setting that we have is the maximum peak brightness setting in specular highlights, and this setting is just working perfectly out of the box. That means if you have an LG G2 and you need 1000 nits for this TV, just set it to 1000 nits and you get 1000 nits. If you're still rocking the LG CX, then just use 800 nits and you get exactly 800 nits. And if you're unsure what your screen TV or monitor can do in regards to the maximum peak brightness capability, just have a quick look on this chart here. Please keep in mind this is work in progress, and if you find a value wrong or you like to add a certain monitor, TV or screen, just put this in the comment section. And the last setting what we have in this game is the richness setting. And if you like to have a little bit more popping HDR colors, just increase this setting. If you like to have less HDR colors, just decrease it. I increased it slightly because I like to have in a game like that more popping HDR colors. But this is a setting which is absolutely up to you. Change it as you like it. Okay, my friends, so that's it for this video, and I think HDR in No Rest for the Wicked is pretty decent, actually more than decent. It's actually pretty good on my LG G4. It's not perfect because I think there are some issues with crushed blacks from time to time, but believe me, it's better that you have a very, very great contrast, and that's what we have in this game with slightly crushed blacks or slightly crushed shadow details than having a Starfield experience where you have just a washed out picture and you can't actually see anything in shadows because it's just washed out. So I prefer this absolutely over any other HDR implementation what I have seen so far, because it's just looking absolutely mind-blowing in my opinion. Thank you very much for watching me. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I see you guys next time.